One of the things that I find interesting, and I think it's probably a reason why there is so much cash on it, with higher prices, especially in Lakewood Ranch, you don't have higher loan limits down there. So for example, people naturally, they think, oh, I'll buy something and put a little bit of money down, but if they're buying a higher price point and they have the cash and they don't want to jump through the hoops of a jumbo mortgage, I think a lot of people resort to cash out of convenience, not necessarily because it's a smart business decision, because because they have it and it's convenient. They don't have to jump through any quote unquote hoops, or at least that's their perception that they have to jump.
Yeah,
through.
I actually had a friend of mine who called, and it's kind of funny. He was kind of looking at a house, and he said, "Hey, I might have some questions for you over the weekend." So he didn't call me, so I called him, and he said, "Oh, somebody put it in a contract. They beat me to it,"
Yeah.
which is common, right?
Yeah, oh, it's very common.
Yeah.
I was on CNBC this week, which was kind of cool to be on national TV.
Yeah.
It was the second time I've been on there, and it's kind of nerve-wracking because you're on, and I mean, I'm in Tampa, and they're in New York or DC, and I've got my little earpiece in, but I don't get to see them. All I get to do is hear them, right? And so they're like, oh, you're coming up next, and then all of a sudden there was like silence, and then he's back. I'm on, and it's like the video's on, and I'm on, and. But one of the things that was interesting about it is, we talked a lot, and I talked a lot in my pre-interview with the article that's on CNBC now about how we have a lack of inventory and how Tampa Bay didn't have as strong of an end to the year as a lot of people hoped. And a big reason for that is there's buyers out there, but now there's not inventory. I think the buyers are finally turning the corner and saying, yeah, I need to buy. I have my pre-qualification. I know interest rates are going up. I know prices are going up. It's time to buy. But we're having a hard time finding inventory for them. And
I think if you're a buyer out there, I think the message, what I'm saying is that, a lot of times we don't move quickly, especially when you're making the biggest investment of one of the biggest investments of your lifetime, if not the biggest.
Right.
And so you tread very slowly, but in this market, you really can't. You probably need to put some things in the contract to protect you, but just in case you
change your mind, or you find something you don't like.
Right, yeah. But you got to move on the property. Would you agree?
Sure.
Absolutely. And on that, there's a builder down in Venice. Like they have a building huge communities down there, lower price points. Started out like just over the 200, like 216,000. And since they've been building, it's up $44,000 because of the inventory.
Oh yeah,
people are waiting.
the demand is there, so they can raise the price.
Right.
Here's on that same token, and this is something that we've had happen pretty recently. And you'd think that these bidding wars and these quick offers are only happening on homes that just hit the market. But I'm seeing homes that have been on the market 4 and 5 months, and then all of a sudden get a flurry and get multiple offers, and the buyer that makes the first offer is like, yeah, sure, they think we're bluffing, and it's like, no, we're not going to risk our real estate license and bluff you. Like, we have to tell the truth. Like, we really do have another offer. If we're telling you that, it's not BS. It's reality of it. And we had one about a week ago, a higher end home. Buyer loved it, made an initial offer that was low. We went back and forth. We were about $10,000 apart. And the buyer just stalled and wouldn't get back to us, wouldn't return a contract. Get a better offer shows up. Seller accepts better offer the next day. Buyer says, "Hey, I'm ready to take that offer." It's like, you missed it, man. And they were all upset, thinking that we did something facetious. But the reality is, they sat on their hands. And in a market where there isn't a lot of inventory, and there's a lot of good news like there is about Tampa. I mean, let's face it, there's a ton of good news out there about Tampa real estate. Jeff Minnick doing everything downtown, all the employers moving here, and our weather, and employers, and just so much good going on in Tampa that we're attracting people from all over the world. And that's what happened. These people moved in from Houston, made an offer, and the same day got it accepted because it was a great offer. They didn't mess around. They didn't, send some low ball and jerk around for a week, and now people lost out because they sat on their hands, and you can't in a market like this.
So I've been doing this a long time, and I've been a consumer myself, and over the years, and even whether it's car industry or the real estate industry, you always been subjected to these games. Hey, I got another offer coming in. You got to make a move, blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And you get jaded by that a little bit. But I would just tell you, as a consumer today in this market, first of all, you got to work with a realtor that you can trust. Number one. I think at the end of the day, if you're a realtor, you got to create the trust. You got to give them something to make them feel better about it, right? And
I mean,
so,
so on that same token, obviously we wouldn't have this radio show if our goal wasn't building trust with people, right? I mean, that's the whole
Yeah.
point of having a radio show. But I think there's a lot of valid ways you can vet a realtor. You know, one of the things we tell people is Google us. You know, go look at our reviews on Google and
Right.
Zillow and Realtor.com. I mean, you'll see raving fan after raving fan after raving fan. Yeah, every 1 out of 50 is there a bad apple that maybe wasn't happy with something? Sure, but
Yeah.
when you sell 700 homes a year, you're not ever going to. Unfortunately, I wish that that's certainly the goal, but you're always going to have things that slip through the cracks, especially in an industry where the realtor gets blamed for everything. You know, the title company messes something up, the lender, not the Waterstone Mortgage deal, the lender messes something up.
It's the
And
agent's
we're
fault.
perfect.
and the other agent that didn't do something right, and then obviously sometimes it gets directed back to the listing agent for so there's we've had competitors go online that just don't like how great we are and
Yeah.
post negative reviews. So it's kind of funny, but the reality is if you want to verify the authenticity or the trustworthiness of the agent that you're going to hire, if they don't have any reviews online, then they don't have any customers, and something's wrong if they don't have any customers. Go online and look at the reviews and look at different profiles. All of the sites out there now have a pretty good system to verify and vet the reviews to make sure that they're legitimate and make sure that you
Right.
are legitimate. So
But
that's one way
what I
that
was gonna,
we.
what I was going to say, no matter what the situation is, right now in this market, you can pretty much rest assured there might be another offer coming in. It's probably very high.
Good chance of it.
Good chance. No matter who you're really working with, probably because the inventory is so low, and you can read it in any newspaper, that there's probably another offer coming in, especially if it's an attractive house.
Well, and so on that same token, looking at the statistics, and we talk about the statistics, a lot on the show. But if you look at the statistics, and we'll have new ones, we'll have the end of year ones coming soon. But you see homes selling for 3, 4, maybe 5% off the asking price. If you're going to come in and again, some of them selling above asking price, some of them selling for full price, depending on how well it's priced and condition and different price points. But the reality is, if you're going to come in, if a house is listed at 700 and you're going to come in at 550, just don't expect. Don't expect miracles. That's not the market we're in today. And the reality is, you'll finally find common ground somewhere in the 6s. And all that happens, and this happens a lot, a better offer shows up during the 7 to 10 days that you're jerking around, going back with your stupid lowball offer. The reality is that you lost out on the house because you were
Too greedy.
an idiot.
I mean, the stats do show 97% sales price versus list price.
Correct.
That's the stats.
That's the stats.
That's
Right.
that's
so
that,
that,
yeah.
can you beat those a little bit? Sure. But
Not at under 250 or
Right.
under 150.
No,
under
you're talking
300 in Sarasota. Those are the ones that are 100 or even 100 and change.
Yep,
You
above
got that,
100% of asking price. Yeah, so I mean, are there occasions where you can get lower than that? Yeah, I mean, are there deals out there? Very little. I mean, the deals that are out there now are getting gobbled up by people that have more money than you.
So I wanted to go back to
I mean,
your thing about
yeah.
cash real quick, and again, going back to my friend, one of the things he did ask me is that if I went and bought cash just to get it done quickly to compete, can I do that and still pull cash out later to be able to reinvest? And I said, sure, you can do that. So a lot of people, sometimes maybe a strategy is, you go ahead, buy it in cash, because that
And
way
then do a
a
refinance.
seller's going to be more open, create a lower price for you because you're buying cash, you can close quickly, and then you can go back and refinance after the fact.
However, and we're up against the break, so I'll just add this one point, and I think you understand this too. They're not going to be able to get the same loan to value when they go refinance it. Very likely,
Well, they
may
not
not
get 95%.
Right. So they could buy 90. They could buy at 5% down. But then after, when they go to refi, they're not going to get 95% back out of it. So
Well-
they're not going to be able to get as much of their cash back, but it's still, they could likely make some of that up in a better deal on the purchase price.
Yeah, but if you base the loan off the sales price and not the appraised value, you can get a pretty high loan value.
True, that's a good point, yeah. Well, we're going to be back. We're going to continue the conversation about the local real estate market here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show.